A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Weekend Central. We come to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Judith Brown. Coming up this afternoon. This afternoon, President John Dramani Mahama reiterates Ghana's call for reparations for the wrongs of slave trade. We have the latest from the AU session in Ethiopia. Also coming up, automobile dealers announce a 15% reduction in prices, citing stabilization of the city and removal of taxes as reasons. We explore the impact. And much later, attainable dream or mere mirage, the pledge to decongest Accra. That's coming up on a special feature series. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Do stick and stay with us. Welcome once again to the bulletin. We start from here. Now, the NDC National Chairman Johnson Asiedu Nketia is accusing the MPP of instigating cocoa farmers to embark on protests. He argues this move is as a result of fears of possible prosecution due to government's decision to thoroughly investigate at the management of Cocoa Board during the MPP tenure. Now, he's been speaking in the Central Region.
The money meant for cocoa purchase, which was diverted, will be investigated. If you see that they are serious about leading farmers to protest, it's because they are scared of the investigation set to take place. As for us, we are transparent. So when it's tough, we explain. When it's easy to, we will all benefit. Don't be deceived, and don't let people encourage you to be angry with the government. Ask them to explain what they would have done if the MPP was in power.
Now, former Finance Minister and MP for Karaga, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, has taken a swipe at government for the recent challenges facing the cocoa sector, emphasizing that the challenges are due to mismanagement of the economy and not linked to any external factors. He said the failure of the Finance Minister to build buffers or do what's referred to as hedging is the cause of the woes in the cocoa sector. He was speaking to supporters of the New Patriotic Party in Tamale. Well, let's now go to Tamale and engage my colleague Christopher Mwako on this particular development. Chris, good afternoon to you. What else has the former minister been saying?
Talking about the challenges facing the cocoa sector, indicating that government is not taking proactive measures to resolving the challenge, because the finance minister should have known better by doing what is called hedging or taking other proactive measures to ensure that when the time comes like this, he'll be able to go through this particular incident without any challenge. He says that government should stop blaming this on some external factors and to accept the blame that they've not been able to properly manage the economy, including the cocoa sector. He's been pointing out some of the key issues that he believes government should do to bring back the lost hope in the cocoa sector. Let's take a listen to what Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam has been saying.
I told the Minister for Finance, if you know cocoa prices can go down globally, what did you do? A good economist, a good finance minister would build what we call buffers. They will build buffers. If you don't want to build buffers, a good finance minister, when the prices were higher last year, would have done what we call hedging. They didn't do hedging, they didn't build buffers, and when the price collapsed, they come out to say, oh, because of external factors. when COVID and Russia-Ukraine war, external factors were affecting our economy, the same finance minister said that there were no external factors, that we just didn't know how to manage the economy. Today, they know that external factors can affect the management of Ghana's economy. Today, they know that. Something you didn't know yesterday, today you know it. So, if they are good managers of the economy, they should have done hedging when the prices were high. They should have done forward sales as we were doing. They didn't do that because they were in a hurry to terminate the contract for the sale of cocoa and instead decided to go to the spot market. Now the market has collapsed. No buffers, no hedging, no forward sales. The result is that producer-farmer price has been reduced, unfortunately. At the time, the NDC say they are better managers of the economy. And that is why I asked them in Parliament, how can an economy that is better managed cannot pay cocoa farmers? How can an economy that is better managed will lead to a reduction in the producer price of cocoa? That's not economic management. And so, my brothers and sisters in NPP, this is just cocoa sector that has exposed them. For them, their management of the economy is to pump dollars and pump dollars and pump dollars in the market. And we want them. We want them. Economic management is not pumping dollars into the market. Because when you pump dollars into the market unreasonably, sometimes you can do that. But if you do it excessively as they are doing, then you are looking for trouble for the economy. Last year alone, they did that intervention. They pumped dollars, $10 billion into the market just to keep the city stronger. This year, they've already done $2.8 billion in 2 months. And because of that, there is what we call overvaluation of Ghana's currency because of what they are doing. Ghana's city has been overvalued. And when you overvalue your currency, in economics, we are told that when your currency is overvalued, it leads to the international competitiveness of your exports falling.
Now, Christopher, I want you to stay with me on the line because the NDC General Secretary, Fifi Fiavikwete, however, is maintaining that the MPP cannot escape responsibility for the state of affairs of Cocoa Board. Let's listen to him.
Any decision that had to do with an important such as cocoa is one that is important to be able to bring what you call the key decision makers in government in order for us to be able to first understand the full nature of the problem and then be able to look at what policy recommendations are being put on the table in order to make, should I call it, a decision on it. So it was a very important meeting. So if the opposition says otherwise, I can understand why they will say what is. That's why they presided over a complete devastation of the cocoa sector. That's why under their tenure, they absolutely were so unconscionable that they could should I call it, cripple that sector with massive debts, giving road contracts worth billions when they do not even have the money to be able to pay. Giving what you call increment to workers when they do not have the money to be able to pay. Buying jute sack that could last for 20 years when they didn't have money to pay. So it tells you that they literally just run that whole important sector down to the ground. So for them to say that cabinet was not needed, of course, that's the reason why you devastated the sector and created a mess that we had to now look for solution for. Now, the reason why we needed to go into that conversation was also because we wanted to bring some, shall I call it, important decisions that is not just addressing the problem now, but into the future. And one of those major decisions that we came up with, for example, was that going forward, the country, a minimum of 50% of all our production should be devoted to processing. That changes the game. Because if you look at what's happening in the cocoa sector, Ghana accounts for maximum 6% when it comes to what you call the value in processing in cocoa, in the cocoa value chain. The processing 6%. And I'm talking about an industry that is going into hundreds of billions of dollars. We account for 6%. Now, if we take a decision that takes half of what we produce into processing, it simply means that the value we are going to extract for this country, and for that matter, that which benefit will now fall not just to the farmers, but to the whole country, becomes far more. Because if you're getting just 6% on the value addition, and when you can actually take a lot more decision that will do that, that is far-reaching decision. If in 8 years, our friends had what you call the basic know-how to even do something like this, we will not have found ourselves in a situation that we found ourselves in.
You heard the General Secretary of the NDC and former Agric Minister Fifi Fiavikwete. Of course, more of this interview will be shown at 1 p.m. today on Hot Issues with Kemeni Amano. But Chris, you're still with me. We know that the NDC has blamed, and as you heard in that interview with Fifi Fiavikwete, they've blamed the MPP, the Eswell government, of some bad decisions made in the cocoa sector during their tenure. Was there any form of responsibility taken by Dr. Amin Adam during that engagement with some of the supporters? And what else has he been saying about the economy?
Yes, he did not take any responsibility. All he's saying is that when the MPP was in government, producer cocoa price was higher than what we are seeing today. Today, we are seeing the prices going down. It means that the farmers will invest, and in the end, they will run at a loss. And so, comparatively, he believes that the MPP was doing much better than the NDC is doing now when it comes to the cocoa sector. On the economy, he's been saying that the cocoa sector is just one sector that has exposed the NDC when it comes to the management of the economy. He's also been talking about the fact that the finance minister is only pumping dollars into the system to ensure that the cedi is stabilized. And once that is done, our cedi is overvalued. And once our cedi is overvalued, it means that they will compare the strength of our cedi when it comes to imports and exports. And so it is affecting Ghana's economy. He's telling the MPP to wait. In the coming days, the NDC will be more exposed when it comes to the management of the economy. And so he believes that the NDC is starting to get exposed with some of its decisions that it has taken, which is affecting farmers, which is affecting how the economy will be run. Judith.
Let's take a listen to him.
When your inflation is 3.8%, on a purchasing power parity approach to economic analysis, when your inflation is 3.8%, as we are told, then your cedi, your currency should depreciate by at least the same 3.8%. But these people are bragging that the cedi is appreciated. That is wrong economics. You can't have 3.8% inflation and your cedi is appreciated. That is wrong economics. Your cedi should depreciate at least by the same rate of inflation or even higher than the rate of inflation. This is the only way you can protect exports. But these guys don't know this. Unfortunately, Ghanaians put the control of this Ghana, our country, in their hands. It will just be soon that Ghanaians will see them. And we will see them for who they are. And that is why I have no doubt. Look, today, imported maize is cheaper than locally produced maize. Imported rice is cheaper than locally produced rice. Imported commodities, goods, are cheaper than locally produced. It's all because of the way they have managed the dollar-cedi relationship, nothing else. So I will end.
Many thanks for your time, Christopher Marco has been bringing us all the details as regards to that engagement between Dr. Amin Adam and some supporters of the MPP in that region. We're going to stay on cocoa now because cocoa farmers in the Bono region are expressing mixed reactions as the government slashes the price of a 64-kilogram cocoa bag from 3,625 cedis to 2,587 cedis for the 2025-2026 crop season. Here's a report by Claude Kumi Ebisa.
Contentious decision. The government has slashed the cocoa producer price from 51,660 Ghana cedis to 41,392 Ghana cedis per ton. Despite initial outrage, many farmers have voiced their understanding, acknowledging the finance minister's recent remarks that these difficult measures are essential to safeguard the future of the cocoa industry.
In order to cushion the farmer, the PPLC has recommended that the farmer be paid 90% of the achieved gross FOB of $4,200 per ton to mitigate the adverse impact as a result of the fall in the world market price. Effective today, Thursday, 12 February 2026, the new producer price for the remainder of the 2025-2026 crop season will now be 41,392 Ghana cedis per ton and 2,587 Ghana cedis per bag.
This strategic decision aims to provide immediate liquidity and ensure the sustainability of the cocoa sector amidst these adverse market conditions. While cocoa farmers in the Bono region have reluctantly embraced the price reductions, they express a sense of satisfaction regarding the new measures announced by the finance minister.
It's a problem, but at least we've heard from our neighbors, neighboring countries, some are around 2,300. So at least we know we are somehow better than them. We've been giving fertilizers this year. We've been giving chemicals to spray and a lot. So we are grateful. But what we also plead is that they release our monies for the ones they take to us. And then as the price has come down at the world market, we are hoping and praying that someday to come the price will increase. And we will plead on the government that should in case the price increases, they should also try and increase the price for us.
We are not so worried about it. All we want is that he will ensure that the cocoa sector becomes better. Our plea to government is that they should pay us what they've already bought from us. If he says you pay us our monies and reduce the prices of the new ones, then we don't have a problem. But all we are pleading is that if there is an increment in the world market, he should ensure that we also increase ours for us to calm our nerves. Claude Kumi Ebisa, TV3 News, Doma.
Now, the news this afternoon, Minister for Communication Sam George says government will be exploring the possibility of extraditing a Russian YouTuber into the country. This follows viral videos said to have been captured by the Russian national, showing him secretly recording his interaction with Ghanaian women. Listen to Sam George speaking on the matter.
The Cybersecurity Authority is one of the agencies under my ministry, and I'm sure leading up to the Christmas, you guys saw the clampdown we did on cybercrime and fraud and all of that. Part of what we do is also to deal with sextortion and child online protection. In this instance, I'm sure you're referencing the Russian gentleman who came into the country. Yesterday, I caused the ministry to send an invitation to the Russian ambassador. I intend to see him this week and have a conversation with him. We're taking a very strong view of it. The individuals involved are not minors. None of them is a minor. They're grown-up adults who made decisions. What the Cybersecurity Authority is interested in, and my ministry is interested in, is not in the moral judgment of the individuals. It's in the non-consensual sharing of the videos that were posted online. That is a crime. It's not a crime to be able to convince a man or a woman to go into your room with you in 6 minutes. That's not a crime by the law. That's a personal decision to make. But it is a crime to record a person without their consent. And apart from, and even when you record and keep it on your phone, and the person finds out and reports to us, we'll prosecute you and you go to jail. That's the law of the land. Now, you don't just record it, but you go and post it on a website for financial gain. That gentleman will be looked for. We will activate every resource in our disposal, working with Interpol. The way we've worked with Interpol to extradite Ghanaians to other jurisdictions, we will request the Russian authorities, and that's why I've invited a Russian ambassador, to work with our law enforcement. We want the gentleman to come to Ghana, to be brought back to Ghana, extradited to Ghana, for him to face the rigors of our law. Ghanaian citizens, irrespective of their decision-making, will be protected by their government. The government of John Dramani Mahama will ensure that every citizen's rights are protected.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has declared that the fight for reparatory justice for the descendants of enslaved Africans cannot be a passive endeavor. Drawing a direct parallel to the continent's struggle for sovereignty, he emphasized that the justice must be actively claimed through unity and determination. He's been speaking at the 39th Assembly of Heads of State of the Government of the African Union.
Advanced continental legal frameworks on cultural, economic, and financial reparation, and other measures. Reparatory justice will not be handed over to us like political independence. It must be asserted, it must be pursued, and secured through determination and unity. The decision is to adopt a decade of reparation. The decision to adopt a decade of reparations marks a strategic shift from a time-bound observance to a sustained global commitment. Mr. Chairman, the draft UN resolution titled Declaration of the Trafficking on Enslaved Africans and Radicalized Racial Chattel Enslavement of Africans as a Greater Crime Against Humanity is going to be moved by Ghana on the floor of the General Assembly on March 25th this year. The resolution has been submitted to this assembly for endorsement in order that Africa speaks with one voice on that global platform. And I'm pleased to announce that several CARICOM countries and other of our allies have endorsed this resolution. And so I urge this assembly to pass the resolution for tabling at the UN General Assembly on March 25th. I thank you.
Now, crash traffic congestion is worsening, costing commuters hours each day and the economy millions of dollars annually. Government says relief lies in a proposed 20-year green digital city project spanning 3 regions. But months after feasibility studies were expected to begin, what has actually changed? Deborah Abamensa has more in this report.
From Tema to the ministry's area in Accra, from Medina to the central business district, what should take under an hour now stretches into 3. According to the transport studies, the average commuter in Greater Accra spent about 110 minutes a day traveling, much of it stuck in traffic.
Things are not moving. Look at the traffic we are incurring. The traffic alone, moving from your place or your home to the office, take you about 2-3 hours before you get to the office. What are you going to do? And you'll be leaving office around 4 instead of you closing 6 o'clock. Because of traffic, you want to leave earlier so that you can get home. And you have family, kids at home. You understand? Accra is really choked.
All the works and the public places all located in Accra, because and it has dragged many people from the country, Ghana, to stay in Accra, all because they can't find job at where they are unless they come here.
For many residents, Accra is no longer just busy, it is overwhelmed. The economic cost is significant. The World Bank estimates Ghana loses about $200 million annually due to traffic congestion from lost productivity, fuel waste, and delays to business operations. Parliamentary data also shows about 70% of major roads in Accra are congested during peak hours, with vehicle speeds dropping below 20 kilometers per hour. President Mahama in May 2025, whilst addressing a Durbar of chiefs and people at Dodowa, said the new city will be located somewhere on the Accra Plains from Bundase, straddling across the Greater Accra, Eastern and Volta regions. In his January 2026 New Year message, President Mahama said foundational works for major reforms, including a new city, was laid in 2025 with 2026 set for scale-up.
As a permanent fix to decongest Accra, we'll begin the design and feasibility study for a new city. Some of the government offices and agencies will be moved out of Accra to the new city.
The project, branded the Green Digital City, is planned as a 20-year smart development across Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern regions. For development experts, the greatest threat is not money, but political discontinuity.
We need to plan how we can gradually, with our little resources, commit something to it. Are we committing part of our oil money? Or now that we are discovering lithium, are we going to use part of the lithium money? Are we going to use part of our internal generated funds? We can never sit and get $10 billion to start it. No, it cannot happen. Our needs are so many.
If the project is not anchored in a national development framework, successive governments may deprioritize it.
If you are expanding to new locations, we need to plan, and then we need to know where exactly are we going to expand this city to. Because if you are saying we are developing a new city, that doesn't mean that we are going to abandon Greater Accra. Definitely Greater Accra will exist, but are we limiting certain things that can congest Greater Accra and taking them across, particularly about the ministries and then where we do government business? Are we talking about creating new working environments around certain areas or the new city area so that we can divert people working life and time towards those locations? If that is planned, then we can get there.
While the long-term vision unfolds, Accra's daily gridlock continues. Even as government promotes the smart city vision, residents say relief cannot wait 20 years. For now, Accra remains congested, and the real test may not be the announcement of a new city, but the execution of immediate solutions already within reach. Deborah Bamensa, TV3 News, Accra.
Interesting report. They were going for a very first break. We'll be back with more stories. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's do some more story. Ghana is taking a major step to protect its declining fish stock with plans to establish the country's first ever marine protected area around Cape 3 Points in the western region. The move is aimed at restoring marine biodiversity while securing livelihoods for local or coastal fishing communities.
The proposed marine protected area is part of government efforts to address overfishing, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing practices, as well as the growing impact of climate change on the marine environment. Cape 3 Points, home to one of the richest marine ecosystems in Ghana, has over the years experienced intense fishing pressure, leading to declining fish catches. Under the plan, fishing activities will be regulated within designated zones to allow depleted fish species to breed and replenish. Fisheries experts say protecting nursery and spawning grounds will help rebuild fish populations, with benefit extending beyond the protected area due to natural fish migration along Ghana's territorial waters.
It's an area of immense marine biodiversity. Notably, we find whales, we find marine turtles, we find dolphins, we find so many interesting species within the greater Cape 3 Point area. So it's an area that has all this biodiversity that has to be preserved because they are important for the nation, but also internationally they are interesting.
To ensure community involvement, marine protected area committees have been formed within the affected fishing communities. The stakeholders were assembled by the Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity to deliberate on implementation plans. The committees are expected to act as a link between government and fisher folk, promoting dialogue, education, and compliance with conservation measures. Fisheries authorities are optimistic that the initiative will in the long term improve fish abundance and stabilize incomes for artisanal fishers who depend heavily on the sea for survival. Beyond fishing, the project is also expected to boost ecotourism.
If you look at the current status of our fisheries, particularly the fish landings, for over 2 decades now, the landings have been declining. And that is an indication that our stocks have been heavily depleted. And so they ought to be restored. And so with this MPA, it's going to complement the suite of management actions and strategies that are already in place to ensure that the downward trend of the fish landings is going to be reversed.
Cape 3 Points, already known for its scenic beaches and historic lighthouse, would attract tourists, researchers and conservationists, creating alternative livelihood opportunities for local residents. Government officials say the Cape 3 Points Marine Protected Area will serve as a pilot project. If successful, similar protected zones will be established along other parts of the coast. As pressure continues to mount on Ghana's fisheries sector, authorities believe the creation of the Marine Protected Area represents a critical step toward balancing economic activity with environmental sustainability, ensuring the future of the nation's marine resources for generations to come. Stanley Nibble, TV3 News, Accra.
Away from that, government has expressed concerns over high importation of poultry products in the country. This as a result supporting farmers in the Bonis region with 110,000 beds to boost local poultry production. Belinda Tete has more.
By reducing the annual imports bill of $300 million, enhancing food sovereignty and creating employment opportunities, the Nkoko Nkete project represents a significant step towards self-sufficiency in the poultry production as well as a game changer for many households. While distributing the best to the beneficiaries, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, John Dumelo, urged farmers to take good care of the birds to help sustain government investment.
We want to flood the market with Ghanaian chicken, and the more supply that there is, the more the prices will come down. We just want every Ghanaian, home to be eating Ghanaian chicken, so that we stop importing this, some people say, Oboniwewu chicken into this country. And I'm just entreating all of them to take very good care of it. I personally will be going around to ensure that most of these beds are well taken care of, because we don't want it to be a waste.
The regional minister, Francis Owusu-Antwi, emphasized that the Nkoko Nkete program represents a vital opportunity for residents to improve their livelihoods while contributing positively to the region's agricultural landscape.
This program is going to reduce the burden of the people. Financially, price of a bed in Ghana here is around 150. So if government in its own wisdom has provided this number of beds to you, it means that he has provided you with money into your pocket. And however, it's to also enhance exportation, because at the end, we are going to raise enough beds to export. We are going to establish a processing plant at Wenchi. So after we've raised the beds to maturity, then and the government comes in to buy, then we'll have a place to process their beds.
Some beneficiaries expressed their excitement and gratitude to the government for the initiative, highlighting the potential it holds for their future.
And first of all, I want to say a very big thank you to the president for thinking about we the farmers and the citizens. It's going to help us a lot because it's going to give us food. At the same time, it's going to give us income.
Launched by President Mahama in 2025, the Nkoko Nkete initiative has ambitious plans aiming to distribute 3 million beds to 60,000 households across the nation's 276 constituencies, setting a bold vision for the future of Ghana's poultry industry. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Bono East Region.
The government's plan to strengthen food security and sustain supply chains has led to the construction of irrigation centers in parts of Brekum West District in the Bono region, aimed at boosting tomato and vegetable production. The irrigation systems will cover more than 70 hectares of farmlands across key tomato growing communities, including Jinijini, Fetenta, Kraso, and Prusu.
Of the District Tomato Farmers Association, Stephen Odro, welcomed the initiative, describing it as a significant step toward reducing Ghana's reliance on tomato imports from neighboring Burkina Faso. Tomato from Burkina is almost 3,000 Ghana cedis, and because of its high price, our traders are not able to go for it. And if the government is doing this for us, it will help reduce galamsey activities in Ghana among them, since growing a vegetable takes only 3 years. Some of the tomatoes farmers who will benefit from the irrigation system express how difficult it has been in getting water for their crops and believe this move will reduce the water crisis they do face during dry seasons. Carry water from afar before we can plant our crops, and this is very good. We thank President Mahama for this project. The district director of Agric for Brekum West, Alfred Lanso, explained that access to water has long been a major challenge for farmers. He noted that the project will enable year-round tomato production and improve yields.
The initiative is to drill boreholes. This will enable farmers within the enclave to undertake dry season farming. The main purpose is to reduce the importation of fresh tomato. We see huge importations from our neighboring Burkina Faso during the dry season. And the government's initiative is to curtail or is to cut or reduce the importation of tomatoes from our neighboring countries. So in this regard, the farmers are being resourced with water supply, adequate water supply within the dry season, so that our farmers can engage in all year round production.
Project manager of Gruma Twin Company Limited, Idrus Zaki, whose firm is supervising the construction, said the irrigation facilities will allow farmers to cultivate their lands even during the dry season once completed.
We are supposed to have a mechanized system of irrigation due to the nature of the area we have here. There's no light whereby we can use the electrical system. So they are using a solar mechanized system whereby we'll be mounting elevated tanks and then solar to enable the people during the day pump the water into the tanks. Then with the irrigation system that we are to create, they would use those systems to pump the waters.
Now, the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, NAPS, has lamented draconian approach by some regulatory agencies in dealing with private schools. President of NAPS, Professor Damascus Turosong, described as ruthless actions which have a tendency of affecting equitable access to quality education. He made the statement during the Association Week celebration at Ajeso in the Ashanti region.
At the launch of the 2026 Ghana National Association of Private Schools Week celebration in Ajeso in the Ashanti region, the president of NAPS, Professor Damascus Turosong, laments the alleged EPA unfair treatment to private schools, describing it as ruthless. The NAPS president appealed to regulatory and enforcement agencies to be considerate when dealing with private schools, explaining that the closure of schools often affects pupils more than school proprietors.
The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, MMDCs, Ghana Revenue Authorities, and all other agencies must reset their style and approach to dealing with clients in a critical sector such as education. Over the past few months, EPA in particular has been rather ruthless in its approach to enforcing its mandate. In the Greater Accra and some other regions, EPA not only slapped hefty fines on schools for operating without permits, they also, and these were fines the schools obviously could not pay. The agency brutally locked up some schools.
Professor Turosong also stressed the need for WAEC to engage NAPS in future deliberations before reviewing examination fees to ensure fairness and inclusiveness in the decision-making. He noted that with signs of economic stabilization, WAEC must reflect this improvement by reducing the cost of BEC registration.
Minister, we plead for a reset of the Basic Education Certificate Examination BEC registration charges to reflect the current economic situation.
You're still watching Weekend Central right here on TV3. We're going for another break. We'll be back with more stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's return to Addis Ababa, where the AU session is taking place. The African Union Commission says it fully backs Ghana's push for reparation for African countries. President Mahama has indicated the decision to ask the UN for a global declaration of slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. The chairperson of the African Union Commission is Mahamoud Ali Yusuf, who has been commenting on the matter at the final press conference to bring the AU session to an end.
Excellency President John Mahama, I think that if Ghana decided to go to the UN Security Council, it is with the mandate of the African Union and with the support of the 55 countries. And without that support and the support of the A3 plus is the non-permanent members of the African countries in the Security Council. And I think that the whole process of demanding reparations and asking that slavery is and was considered as a crime against humanity, it is a collective effort. And Ghana is relying on the support of the African group in New York to advocate for that and to lobby for that. So rest assured that the Commission is behind Ghana to support the tabling of that resolution at the UN Security Council.
Now, a health assessment in Doma West District has revealed a high prevalence of anemia among pregnant women, with 45% of 212 surveyed identified as anemic. Now, this rate exceeds the WHO's threshold for serious public health concerns and increases the risk of negative birth outcomes. In response, the district's health directorate has initiated a twofold intervention aimed at improving nutritional health and addressing deficiencies in neonatal care infrastructure. A report by Kwabna Ibisa.
The Health Directorate embarked on a district food demonstration focused on educating communities about the importance of incorporating local food into their diet, particularly for pregnant women. Participants from several sub-districts, including Nkrankwanta, Yakrum, Kwadjumokrum, and Krakrum, gathered to learn valuable nutrition skills that could combat anemia and support healthier pregnancies.
As of mid-year last year, 2025, we were battling with 44.5 anemia in pregnancy as of results that we got, or the data we got from region. And we didn't sit upon it. We decided to do our own analysis. So we sampled about 212 pregnant women. And we also found that about 45% of them were anemic, which means that the data was corresponding to the regional data. And we realized that it is caused by dietary deficiencies. And so we decided that we would take it upon ourselves and go beyond counseling women at the ANC and then do food demonstration so that they will get hands-on cooking skills on our local foods.
And especially the pregnant women, they are going through a lot. Because when they get pregnant, they can't even eat. So you have to force them. They need those food to eat so that you can get enough blood. So during their delivery, they were able to deliver successfully.
The demonstration also served a dual purpose as a fundraising initiative to support the procurement of an incubator to save lives of premature babies and those born with health conditions. The Doma West District Hospital, which serves not only local residents, but also people from parts of Côte d'Ivoire, Western North and Hafo regions, faces a shortage of essential life-saving equipment for its neonatal intensive care unit, NICU. Midwife at the NICU, Sarah Adani Esima, explains how they improvise to prevent tragic outcomes.
We are doing our best, but we still have challenges with managing babies here. For instance, we don't have a radiant trauma, we don't have incubator, but upon all the challenges, we are doing our best to manage those that we can, and then those that we can't, we refer them to nearby facilities to support with the management of them.
Daniel Owusu Amponsa, the health director of Doma West District, is appealing for urgent support from the government, stakeholders, and philanthropists to equip the NICU in each hospital to meet district level standards.
We serve people from Ivory Coast. We serve people from Western North. Here is a referral point, and we don't have an incubator.
Now, February 14 is widely celebrated as Valentine's Day, a moment set aside to show love and compassion. But this year, love went beyond chocolates and roses, reaching an unexpected place: police cells in the Western North region.
Authority has taken Valentine's Day activities to selected police stations in the Western North region, extending care and encouragement to inmates in custody. The initiatives form part of effort to promote humanity, empathy, and social inclusion, reminding inmates that despite their circumstances, they are not forgotten. Officials of the authority and Cocoa Board presented chocolates, water, and other essentials to inmates while engaging them in words of hope and reassurance.
And then it's all about you. Yeah, society no, yeah, that's what domo. Now, fe monpenyu for omo bomb homoding correct mono. Higher correctional facility. Meaning, I say bibi kra na aba bone so enti na waba hanmo awoba na commander ne mpenyu for the staff ya no mo hwe no mo siesie mo se be ya mo be san free ha e be ba society mu no na mo ba be ye can say law abiding citizens. Ye can so say koko afuo yo ehu hia pa enu nti no se nyame ya adom na mo ba abonten a na mo chese mo aye mo adwen so se mo be keka mo ho abom na afi de be pass asibi na start cultivate cocoa.
According to the Ghana Tourism Authority, the gesture aligns with the spirit of Valentine's Day, sharing love, kindness, and dignity with all members of society, including those behind bars. The move also highlights the authority's broader commitment to community engagement beyond tourism promotion.
We are not talking about inmates alone. Our target group changes from year to year. I don't know who the target group will be next year.
And that's all we have for you right here on Weekend Central on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you this afternoon. Do stay tuned. Hot Issues with Kemini Amano is up next. She will be sitting with Fifi Fiavikwete, who's the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.